My fellow bassists, welcome back. So in this month's Patreon poll, the clear winner was how to master the fretboard and never get lost. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the feeling of playing a bass line or solo and kind of remembering which frets you're supposed to push, but not really actually knowing what notes you're playing. This works fine for a while, but as soon as you need to improvise or you find yourself in a high pressure situation, you might lose your place and then it's almost impossible to find your way back into the groove. This is especially true once you get above the 12th fret. Trust me, I know the feeling, but luckily it is possible to practice certain exercises that will allow you to know exactly where you are at all times. I've decided to create a new series here on YouTube and Patreon that'll be coming out over the next couple of months that's dedicated entirely to memorizing every note on the fretboard and the relationships between them. So with that being said, here are 3 exercises that will really help you to gain fretboard mastery. The first one is pretty basic, but even if you consider yourself an advanced player, I'd still recommend watching this just to test yourself and see where your knowledge is now. The most fundamental aspect of fretboard knowledge is knowing the names of the notes. At first glance, it might look quite intimidating to see just how many notes there are in different positions on the fretboard. The good news is that all the notes from the 12th fret and up are exactly the same as the notes in the first half of the fretboard. They're just 1 octave higher. So if we look at the E string, at fret 1 we have F, and if we just add 12 frets to that, we get fret 13, which is also F but an octave higher. At fret 3 we have G. Add 12 frets, you get to fret 15, which is also G but an octave higher. And this pattern holds true for every fret on every string. That means for now we can forget about everything beyond the 12th fret, which luckily cuts the amount of memorization that we need in half. Now it's time to memorize the 7 white key notes. If we look at a piano keyboard, there are 7 white keys and 5 black keys. The white keys all have their own names, which are C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. And then the black key notes, we just use the word sharp or flat to either raise or lower the pitch. So the note between C and D is called C sharp or D flat. This one's called D sharp or E flat. This is F sharp or G flat. Then we have G sharp or A flat, and then A sharp or B flat. It's easier to memorize all the white key notes first, since then you can just use that sharp or flat to get the notes in between them. The best way to memorize all the white key notes is to just play them one by one on each string and say the note name out loud as you play it. I know this might feel kind of silly at first, but trust me, it really helps to get this ingrained into your mind. Let's try doing that together now. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If that was too fast for you, you can always just practice it on your own with a metronome. And if you want to go the extra mile, I'd also recommend practicing that same exercise, but doing it starting from the 12th fret and going up as far as you can on your bass. You can find the full backing tracks on Patreon that'll help you practice this stuff as effectively as possible. Keep repeating that exercise until you can name all of the white key notes on each string on your own, and then you can move on to the next one. This one's exactly the same, except now we add the black key notes too. This means you actually get a choice because each black key note has 2 names, like F sharp or G flat. In an exercise like this, it really doesn't matter which name you go with, so don't worry about which one you pick or whether it's different from the one that I'm using. Let's try playing all the notes on every string together now. E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp. A, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, E flat, And again, you can feel free to extend that exercise past the 12th fret if you want. Okay, once you've reached the point where you can name all the notes on every string one by one on your own, it's time to ramp things up a bit. In this next exercise, we're going to play the note E in every possible place on the fretboard, and then we're going to do the same thing with F, F sharp, and every single other note. For each note, we'll start at the lowest point on the fretboard and then work our way up, playing that note every time it comes up. So for example, here's every place that you can play E. Not too difficult, right? If your bass doesn't have 24 frets, you can just skip the last couple of notes. Just watch out though, because the pattern does start to change a little bit once you get further into the exercise. And we're going to be playing it in time with a backing track, so you won't have a whole lot of time to think about where the next note is. Let's try playing it together now. It's easy to get tripped up on that exercise, especially once those open strings start coming into play. Just keep practicing it until it becomes easy for you, because this is really going to help your fretboard visualization so much. Of course, these 3 exercises are just the first steps in fretboard mastery. Knowing the names of every note is a really great fundamental aspect of knowing the fretboard. But in order to really be able to visualize everything fully, you also need to understand the relationships between the notes. And that's exactly what we'll be looking at in the next lesson in this series. If you want early access to that lesson, as well as all of the backing tracks needed to practice the exercises in this video, just head over to the Basecamp Patreon and I'll see you there. Thanks so much for watching, have fun practicing, and I'll see you in the next lesson.